This meeting to order. Will you all please stand for the invocation? Ms. Hamilton.
If you'll join me. Father God, we come to you now and we just thank you and we praise you for all that you do for us, Lord. And we just praise you and thank you for the rain that we know you are sending to our dry land. Lord, we just continue to have faith that you will send it in due time, and we know that you know the right season. So we thank you for that. And Lord, we just thank you for each and every individual person that's here in this meeting today. Lord, I ask that you please guide our commissioners and just give them your wisdom to make decisions to glorify you in this county. Lord, we just thank you for all of our employees and their families. Just keep everyone safe. And Lord, please protect the men and women that serve this great nation. Please be with our local, our national, and our state leaders, Lord. They just all need more of you. We just thank you and praise you in your son's name. Amen.
Okay, item 1 on approval of agenda. We need to, we'll take out the executive session today, and I would like to remove the budget workshop until we have all 5 commissioners present. And with that, I will make a motion to approve the agenda. We got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, approval of minutes from the April 6th regular meeting. I got a motion and I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, approval of accounts payable and payroll.
Also move to Madam Chair.
I'll second. I have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 4, public requests. Anybody have anything today? Okay. Moving on to elected official and department heads. Assessor's office, Mr. Beggs.
Morning. How are y'all? I'm just presenting our basic. That's a report that we give every year. And just touching base on what we're doing and the valuations, and it's kind of an outline. It says we're required to give this report every year to the commission. It says we've included a calendar with our deadlines and everything. On page 1 of this is the building permits and sales that came in through the year. Part 2, which is page 2, is our ratio study. Said we had 155 sales this year, and we're coming in about 95%. That's our ratio, which is good. It's meets the IAAO standards. And the certification abstracts on page 3 is basically tells the net value of the county, and it's doing good. We're increasing. So, and basically page 4 just goes through what we do. And it's pretty cut and dry. I mean, cattle's going to be down, as we all know, but everything else across the board, it seems like it's increased. We've got more sales. We've got more building permits due to the hail and everything and last year. So it's looking good. So it's pretty cut and dry. I'm open for questions. I mean,
Very
thank
much.
you.
Okay, moving on. Treasurer's office, Ms. Sanchez.
Good morning, Madam Chairman and Commissioners. I'm going to start with going back and revisiting our January report, since last time I had misfigures. So your beginning cash January 31st was $6,275,033.69. You had increases of $610,422.73, and you had credits, which are decreases of $416,812.05, leaving your ending cash in general fund $6,468,644.37. Does anyone have any questions about the January balances? Then I'll just move on and we'll go to February's at the same. So then February's beginning cash, $6,468,644.37. You had $442,153.57 of increases or debits. You had $1,075,730.09, leaving your ending cash in general fund for February at $5,835,067.85. Are there any questions about February's information? Okay. In the treasurer's office, we have about 2 more weeks left before the end of the collection period for your second half of property taxes. They do become delinquent after May 10th. June 10th, then we send out another set of delinquent notices to anyone who has prior delinquencies and would be delinquent for the 2020 tax year as well. I'm currently reviewing the deposit and investment policy that we have. Next meeting, I'll be bringing that for your review as our Board of Finance as well. We had some good news come in, and the proof of claim that we submitted back in 2016, I believe, against the Abengoa bankruptcy, they have their trust has actually paid on that proof of claim. So we'll be applying that to the delinquencies on Abengoa's two different, the personal property and the real property account. So that is nice. If you have any questions, I'm sure myself and Randy will help answer any of those. And I believe I come back after this. Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much.
Healthcare. Ms. Flores. No second. Are you ready to go into engineering?
Good morning, Madam Chairman and Commissioners. If we may go into indigency, please.
To indigent meeting, Madam Chair.
And I'll second. Have a motion, a second? Yes? Yes. Okay.
We have 17 total claims for $12,117.33. I recommend for approval 16 claims for $10,897.33. I recommend one for disapproval from RGH for past timely filing for $1,220. Do y'all have any questions on those?
I don't have any questions, Madam Chair.
Is that all you have? Okay. You want to make a motion? You want
Pardon
to
me?
come out of the, you want to make a motion to come out of the indigent?
Sure, yeah, so moved. Come out of indigent.
Okay. We got a motion to come out of indigent? Yes. Yes.
Yes. And with that, I will move to approve agenda item 5 under healthcare, indigent board update from Ms. Flores to
I'll, s-
approve.
I'll second to approve. We got a motion and a second? Yes.
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 Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Road, Mr. Lovato. What?
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners.
Morning.
Little update. We finished South Roosevelt Road AB between 18 and 16 and a half, 1.5 miles of Caliche. We moved that crew to Virginia Estates, and it's going from dirt to chip seal. Hopefully, we'll have it completed in the next 3 weeks. The other crew is on South Roosevelt Road W off of the Floyd Highway. We're doing a mile of Caliche on that one, and then he should be done with that one today. And we're moving him over to Floyd, and we're doing 2 miles of South Roosevelt Road 4, doing some Caliche work on that. I'd like to visit with y'all about some cutting edges. Cutting edges are these wear strips that are on the bottom of our mold boards on these blades. And last week, Wagner representative came down and said that cutting edges are hard to get anymore. The last set we ordered 2 bundles of these about a month ago, and we got 6 from Hobbs, 8 from Albuquerque, and the rest of them out of Colorado. Total of 20. And what he's telling us that he does not know when we're going to get more cutting edges. And so our thoughts on that, I have a total of 8 sets in the yard right now. And we're thinking about parking the blades except for 4 of them. 2 of them will be the 2 Caliche crews to continue to build roads. And the reason for that is because LGRF is a time limit, and so is capital outlay. And we can continue to build roads and preserve our cutting edges that we do have. And for those 2. Now the other 2 blades, I told you a total of 4 blades, is Efren is retiring next month, and he is training Caesar on his route for the next month to teach him all the roads and where all the gas lines are at and so on and so forth. And then if we're still having a problem with cutting edges, we will park those 2 blades also and just run the 2 for the LGRF and capital outlay. In doing that, that leaves the rest of the crew free to do some pothole patching, trimming trees, and cattle guards. And there's plenty of that to be done. The work is endless on that also. So I just wanted to give y'all an update why you would not be seeing any blades moving. I think Rusty said he'll be back towards their place today or tomorrow, and the blade will be parked at his parents' place at a safe place. The rest of the equipment is going to be at the safe place also, either here at the yard mainly. So we're moving a bunch of guys around to help potholing, trimming trees, and also cleaning cattle guards. Any questions? I've got a question, Madam Chair, members of the board. So what would be the remedy for the cutting edge situation that's going on right now? So from what I'm hearing, these cutting edges are coming out of Canada. And now my understanding is there's nothing coming out of Canada into the States right now. Parts is also another dilemma we have. Getting parts just for trucks. They assemble a bunch of parts here in the United States, but there's always that one little chip that's got to come from overseas to finish that part. and it's getting really difficult to get parts also. I don't know what the remedy is. I've reached out to John Deere. Everybody has had the same idea as we have. Reach out to John Deere, these other places that does have cutting edges. They're wiped out. Everybody has went out and bought everything that is out there. So I did last week. What I did is I reached out to Ms. Rivera and put in a requisition to buy 4 more bundles. So there is a PO out there for more cutting edges. As soon as they get them, they'll start delivering them, but I don't know when that's going to be. Hopefully soon, but I don't know.
And if I may, so Commissioner Lopez, this is part of the long-term consequences of shutting down the economies like they've chose to do. And so there are any number of unknowns that we're facing across the county. This is just one area that hit us the quickest in regards to the road department. Our hands are tied at this point because we have to have these to be able to function, and we want to preserve the ones that we do have so that we can continue to finish the projects that we've received the funding for. It's just the regular maintenance. And as we all know, in this drought, it goes through them really, really fast, as he explained, just that sand running through those edges and everything. So this is part of the danger. We've tried to nail down other manufacturers, other distributors. Wagner has gone throughout all of theirs, but this goes all the way back to overseas as well as our neighboring countries. It's just part of that ripple effect that we're going to feel for years to come. This is just one of those ways that it's hitting us.
Okay.
Unfortunately. Yes, sir.
Commissioner Savage, do you have anything? Okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you. If y'all have any more questions.
Thank you, Ricky.
Thank you.
Moving on to the manager's report. Ms. Hamilton.
Yes. Good morning, Madam Chair and Commissioners. And so I just want to go over a few things before I do the annual county report. And so at the last meeting, Commissioner Lopez had asked to extend an invitation, and the District 2 engineer does plan to attend our meeting on May 25th. If there's any specific things that we want to address with him, I told him I'd be happy to give him a list if there was anything of specific concern. He also is going to come update on the status of the district and what they're working on. So he will be here at our meeting then.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And the next thing, obviously, we're all watching the American recovery funds and continue to attend numerous webinars and updates, just waiting on the Treasury Department to issue some finalized guidelines. They did release an initial step where we have to make sure that we have a SAM registration, a DUNS number, and all of that. And in working with finance and our special projects manager, we have all of that. That's something that Carol maintains regularly, as well as finance. So we have all of our initial information ready. They are projecting somewhere around 3.6 million, but that is all subject to change because that again is dependent upon the Treasury. The Treasury has yet to release the distributions and how that's going to fall for each one of our counties, municipalities, local governments and such, as well as the guidelines for this. We do know that they are going to allow certain things. One of the items later in the agenda is the premium pay. So we know that that is going to be an allowed expense. We also know that they're going to allow for some infrastructure. We're seeking clarification on what exactly that's going to be able to qualify as, like if our drainage project out here that we're going to initiate is going to qualify and such. So we're going to continue to watch those closely and monitor. We'll keep you informed just as soon as we can get some actual rules tied to this, but it's going to be funds that we will receive the first half. They said within 60 days of the bill's passage, so we're narrowing down now that time frame. We anticipate that we could receive those funds before the end of the fiscal year, and then the remainder of the funds will come a year later. And so there's a wealth of record keeping and everything else that's required. Our team is familiar with that to the extent that we've already done the FEMA grant, and CARES Act, and several other things. So we're confident in our documentation and such. It's just that we know those funds are going to become available. The next thing that I wanted to mention, and I believe I've sent y'all the email, May 8th at 6 p.m., the New Mexico Cattle Growers is hosting the American Stewards of Liberty, and they're going to come and do a presentation on the lesser prairie chicken. We were part of the petroleum-based group in the initial suit, which is before some of our times and everything, but it looks like this prairie chicken issue is going to come back up again on the registry. And so anyone that is interested in attending, again, that's May 8th at 6, and that will be in Tucumcari. And it'll be a good informational type thing, whether we're part of that action or not. I do anticipate that they will have some good information to share. The next thing is that we have been advised that all the entities are moving forward with the MOU on the regional health facility. I received notification perhaps that the city of Tucumcari did not approve that, but the other ones have. So we're still waiting to see where Debaca County and the village of Fort Sumner, some of those are. I believe Quay County's already done it. Curry County's already done it. The city of Clovis, ourselves, and the city of Portales. So the majority of entities have already got it addressed. Once that's done, then the city of Clovis is going to handle that procurement for the request for the proposal to be able to draft that feasibility study and everything. So we're really excited to continue to move forward on this project. It's still obviously in the infancy stages, but we know that it is a vital need to our area. And that's something that we're continuing to monitor. There's also a chance that there could be some federal dollars unique to this need. And so we're monitoring that as well. We've seen some initial census results, and I'm sure y'all have seen some of the press that's out there in terms of, what states are going to be gaining and losing potentially seats and everything. As far as Roosevelt County goes in the state of New Mexico, in Roosevelt County, we're below the state average. So the state was at 58.7% self-reporting, with 44.8% doing that online. And in Roosevelt County, we were at 54.1% with 38.7% responding online. And so we're still continuing to monitor those census results. The initial projections are a decrease in Roosevelt County of anywhere from 6 to 10%. And we know that we've had some attrition, but we also know that we're going to be missing a lot of those students that we would have been counting before. So we're just going to continue to monitor that. May 7th, the Chamber Awards Banquet will be at ENMU, and I forwarded y'all that email as well. So you can look into that if you are interested. And then we received the latest oil and gas report through the state of New Mexico, so specific to Roosevelt County, and I try to present these regularly as we receive them. What we have seen is a decrease year over year of about 22.6% in oil, and in natural gas, and we've seen a 51.2% increase in the volume in that collected here. And then as far as oil volume goes, we've seen a 26% decrease, and we've also seen the oil value decrease about 34%. So we're going to continue to monitor that. That is another chance if we do continue to see decreases in oil and gas. We know that the federal funds will be allowed to plug holes and decreases such as this in our revenue sources. So we'll continue to monitor that. And then the other thing that I have on my list is that we have been moving forward. As you all know, we have been working to dispose of the dilapidated structure at the 1320 North Boston, which will be the location of the new road barn. We did not get a bid at the auction, but I have waited now a month roughly after the event, because we had a series of 3 different private individuals that were interested in it. And so we shared the agreement, the appraisal, all the inspection reports and information like that tied to that. And at this point, no one has been able to move forward with that. And so we will have to move forward with disposal through the process. And did want to give you an update too, that there was questions as to whether we had it appropriately tested, and we have them. There is no lead paint, there is no presence of asbestos, so we can move forward with the demolition. So we will continue to do that as we work through. And then the last thing that I need to present, okay, sorry. So are there any questions on my regular report? Okay. So the next thing is the state of the county, and this is an annual part of our ethics. And I want to present that. I've given you each a copy, and this will also be posted on our website. But these are just the highlights. And again, it dates back to the fiscal year 20 financial audit. It reflected strong financial stability of the county. There was one finding of other matters, and again, received the award from the New Mexico Office of the State Auditor and New Mexico counties for the FY19 audit. In FY21, we're looking at a projected $10,874,230 projected revenues, with $12,479,721 in projected expenditures. Very excited to report that our Moody's rating has improved yet again. We are at an AA2/AA3, which is improved from an A3 in 2013. So just to explain again and touch on, I know we've covered this before, and I've given y'all a copy of the Moody's ratings so that you can see historically where we have gone and how we've continued to build on this. This is basically a credit report for our local government. It really analyzes a variety of different factors, and it gives a signal of a default and expected loss, as well as signaling credit risk. And we are in that highest prime rating. There are additional levels above us that you will see some of the other counties receive that are larger, Class A. But at this point, we are sitting very financially sound. They look at the amount of debt that we have in relation to our capital and our cash and how everything's being monitored, what our budgets look like. They go through our financial reports, all of our audits and such. So I'm very pleased to announce that we continue to move forward and that we've hit that level. A lot of times you will see now that we will be right there with the state in terms of our credit rating and where our bond capacities are and such. And that, again, is going to the stewardship of this commission in terms of what we have in debt ratio, as well as where we're performing in our budget capacity. So very pleased with that. Currently, we have $3,843,300 in reserves, which is just over 44% of the general fund operational budget. This again was rebuilt from $0 in fiscal year 15, if we can recall. We've also had the creation of the Local Reserves Capital Fund project of $3 million. And that was from one-time construction projects that were completed within the county. And those are funds that you have set aside as a local reserve that will be able to be utilized during the budget process for those one-time capital projects throughout the county. In terms of operation, we've enhanced and rehabilitated 53 miles of county roads. We've continued to implement the 5-year planning process for county-maintained roads. We've worked with Excel on Sagamore Wind Project and developed that transportation agreement, which resulted in additional miles of roads being enhanced throughout that wind project. We've secured $610,000 from the New Mexico DOT to repair Sundale Valley and install fencing on North Roosevelt Road AV in preparation of that major project. And we continue to work with Cannon Air Force Base on the variety of road projects throughout the county. We've maintained ongoing communication with our legislative representatives regarding Roosevelt County's needs and concerns. We've secured, this last fiscal year, we secured $1 million in capital outlay projects and to include road graders, the detention and laundry renovations, the health center roof replacement, and the planning of the fairgrounds stormwater mitigation project. We've also worked the drainage project at the Roosevelt County Fairgrounds to include an unsuccessful CDBG application, which resulted in moving forward with a successful partnership with the New Mexico Environment Department for a stormwater mitigation project. We did have the 2020 census that was a partnership led jointly by the city and the county and community leaders to coordinate and promote that response. We've coordinated the county response to COVID-19 with emergency management and the leadership team continued administrative functions of cross-training and succession planning, which we have in place and implemented, and all offices and departments continue to be responsible for their own annual budgets with monthly monitoring and continued performance at or below budget metrics. So I feel like we've got a really strong report, but I wanted to make y'all aware of that, and I would definitely stand for any questions in regards to the state of the county.
I might have just not heard you, but I didn't hear you mention the detention center received the reaccreditation.
Oh yeah, I read
Skipped
right
right
over
over
that.
it.
Sorry. Yes, they did. Reaccreditation and their policies and procedures are continually reviewed annually. Sorry. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I really don't have any questions. I'd like to just make a quick comment or statement. I'd like to thank everyone that's in this room. I think most of the departments are represented here today, and I think it takes a full team from the holistic point of view that Roosevelt County is actually where we want to be. And all we have to do is just be better and continue to do what we're doing. But I'd like to thank every department that's present here today. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Amber.
Thank you. Okay, on to commissioners' reports. Commissioner Savage, do you have anything? Commissioner Lopez?
She answered all my stuff.
Well, I would just like to take this time. Thank you, Amber, for stepping up and helping out where we've been shorthanded and the things that you've done to assist. And I really appreciate that. And I just want to thank everybody for all that you've done in helping get this all put together and working together. Okay, item 6, new business. Request for approval of FY22 preliminary organizational charts. Ms. Old.
Good morning, Madam Chairman, Commissioners. I believe you have the packet of the organizational charts. I stand for any questions.
So we do want to highlight a few things. I don't know if Deb has her phone. So sorry, my texting was a little late, but we wanted to bring any changes to y'all. So we just want to point out that one of the changes that we're very thankful for is that the assessor and the treasurer have met together. They have found a great potential solution for the times that the treasurer's office is needing some additional support with collections. There will be a shared employee from an existing employee between those two departments. So we're really excited to see that creative solution. And again, that's just phenomenal leadership by the two elected officials in that area. We also will show that we have the MAP program manager there in the detention center. It's likely that we're going to look at hiring that before the beginning of the fiscal year, so we may bring the FY21 org chart back, but if not, we at least have it in here for the preliminary for the FY22. And very excited to see what that program is going to be able to bring to our facility in terms of some much needed services. And then also on the administrative chart, as you will see underneath the detention administrator, we have our compliance officer that is existing now. And we've also added the DWI coordinator, which is the addition of the program and the grant functions that the city has asked the county to assume. And so those are the changes that we did want to highlight in those organizational charts.
So the compliance officer is under, you're referring to, who has that position? Compliance officer.
Yes, so we have hired in August of last year, Dana Hernandez is our compliance
Right.
officer. She's been doing that. It's just going to be a joint program, compliance and DWI, but they're going to be reporting to Administrator Porter.
Okay. I didn't realize they were under our umbrella. I mean, I deal with her from other position. I thought they were under magistrate court for some reason. No?
Well, she's housed over at Magistrate Court, but she's actually a county employee.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you.
Anything further Amber could answer?
Thank you, Deb.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amber. Okay. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve FY 2020 preliminary organizational chart.
I'll second that.
I got a motion and a second. Yes,
Yes.
motion carries. Request for authorization of the purchase of a 12-month, $250,000 CD with Western Bank of Portales. Ms. Sanchez.
Yes, good morning again. Last meeting, I came to you asking for permission to go out to our local banks to find an investment CD locally. And the one that responded with the best rate was Western Bank of Portales, I'm sorry. And we also just needed to add the wording of the authorized signers on that for that CD also. Do anyone have any questions?
Anybody have a question? I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of a 12-month CD with Western Bank of Portales. Got a motion and a second. Dennis?
Yes.
Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Request for approval of summary subdivision of a re-plat of lots 32 and 31 of the Westview subdivision. Mr. Montiel.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Mike Hernandez has applied for a summary replats of lot 31 and 32 in the Westview subdivision. The proposed summary replat contains 2 lots. The proposed summary replat will be adjusting the lot line between 31 and 32, moving it eastward, and also will be named 31A. Also, the proposed summary replat will divide lot 32 into 2 lots, being named 32 and 32B, and will have a portion of lot 31 in it also. The minimum lot size will be 0.99 in acres. The maximum lot size will be 1.819 acres in size. Under the Roosevelt County Subdivision Ordinance, Article 13, Special Procedures, is followed major lot line amendment and lot line adjustment. Then follows the summary subdivision process. There were no adverse opinions from any of the utilities or landowners. The replat is in the Westview subdivision. It is located in the northeast corner of the intersection of Sapphire Lane and Emerald Drive. It's also in section 22, Township 1 South, Range 34 East, okay? It has been approved by the city of Portales. It has met all the rules and regulations of our subdivision ordinance. I stand and ask for your approval on this replat. I stand for any questions.
I'll second that, Madam Chair. Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Hello again. I'm requesting ratification for the Arch Volunteer Fire Department Protection Fund application. The minimum amount for this distribution is $58,584. And as of now, the rollover is $267,000 $6,185.24 for Arch. Do you have any questions on that?
I'll second that, Madam Chair. Yes.
Requesting ratification for FY22 Fire Protection Fund application for Mill and Sand Volunteer Fire Department. Their fund distribution is $123,334, and their rollover is $446,790.52. Do you have any questions on that?
I'll move to approve agenda item 6E, Madam Chair. Yes.
Yes, we received a call for projects from our local RTPO for our, last year when we applied for this, for the baseline road rehabilitation, which is South Roosevelt Road A, we were able to get on the R-tipper, very important for this. And so the R-tipper is the Regional Transportation Planning roster, as we were able to get this project on there. So we qualify to apply this year.
And this is something while Ms. Acosta looks at everything, I've asked her and Mr. Lato to ensure that we had something that was shovel ready. We knew that the legislature sent additional funds to this in the tune of over, I think, 120 million that we'll see additionally in this for the application process. So we've had conversations with our DOT leadership just to ensure that rural counties, because there was some questions early on with the scoring of this, and they've addressed that, I've been told, administratively. So we're really excited about this. This is a road there in District 2. It's 3 miles, and it connects New Mexico 202, which is also the Cacahuete Road that we're familiar with New Mexico 348, which goes into South Texaco. It is a bus route, very commonly used, an extensive amount of traffic there as well from area agricultural producers out in that. So we're excited to see what we're doing with this. It will be shovel ready, and Mr. Lato and Ms. Flores have worked very hard to ensure that we have this one ready to go and shovel ready. But we did want to ask for the commission's approval because this is one that we will need to actually submit today after the meeting.
With that said, Madam Chair, I'd like to approve agenda item 6F for DOT project fund application.
And I'll second it. We got a motion, a second. Mr. Severs? Yes,
Yes.
motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carol.
Item 7A, request for ratification of on-the-job training agreement with New Mexico Workforce Connection. Ms. Oles.
Good morning again. I have been working with Workforce Connection for 5 years now, since I've been with the county, and they have an on-the-job training program where this is federally funded, that we can receive 75% of the wages of anyone that they send to us for on-the-job training for 6 months, which is a godsend. That's assuming they can find anybody to work. So I'd like to request that the agreement be ratified and we can move forward with finding applicants to fill these positions.
I have one question, Madam Chair, members of the board. Is this contingent upon hire after the 6 months is over, or is there still that choice from the employer whether they're gonna hire this individual after the 6 months of OJT? Because I've used that in the past with individuals that I used to help find jobs, and that was one of the incentives. The work incentive from the employer was that they got 6 months and the employer got 70% of the wages filled, but it was contingent upon them being hired after the 6 month period.
Yes, the
Is
6
it-
months is a trial period, basically. We still have a 12-month probationary period. So anytime during that 12-month probationary period, but the 6 months, it is an incentive to find people long-term employment.
Thank you.
Any questions?
With that, I'll make a motion to approve ratification on the job training agreement with New Mexico Workforce Connection.
And I'll second that.
I got a motion and a second. Commissioners, yes.
Yes, sorry.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item B, request for ratification of memorandum of understanding between New Mexico Sentencing Commission and Roosevelt County for County Data Sharing Agreement 2021-01. Mr. Porter.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. I'm just asking for you guys to approve this ratification. The New Mexico Sentencing Commission is putting together a pool of information. They're trying to get all the detention centers and the courts into a system where we can share information with each other about where detainees are, what the status is of their courts, and then also it's supposed to help with some of the billing as far as when detainees are brought back from prison systems for courts and things like that. So it's really trying to create a system to make everything a little bit more efficient and give us all kind of access to that information. And so they're requesting just to be able to access our jail database system to pull some of the information they need for reports and some of the information they'll need. With that, I'll stand for any questions.
I did read through this MOU, Madam Chair. Just one quick question. Would this help with whenever we're waiting on a county detainee to be transferred to the state, establishing a system like this? You know how sometimes we have to wait for our inmates to be transported and it's an unfunded mandate. Would this help with that at all?
No,
Or is this
sir.
a separate system?
It's the courts will notify us that somebody needs to go. In particular, the information will go to the sheriff's department for the transports to prison.
Right.
And then they will schedule that transport. All this system would do is help reflect that that order has been placed or that judgment and sentence has been made.
Thank you.
Anything else? 7B. B.
I'll second that motion. Madam Chair.
I've got a motion. I got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Request for approval of award of ITB 2021-04 Roosevelt County Road Barn to Nixon Enterprises, Inc. for $616,133.11. Ms. Rivera.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. We released an invitation to bid for the construction of the road barn. We received a total of 3 bids. And after careful review of each bid, making sure that they were all responsive, we have determined that Nixon Enterprises, Inc. will be the lowest cost to the county. As procurement officer, I would like to recommend the county award the contract to Nixon Enterprises, Inc. for the construction of the road barn. With that, I'll stand for any questions.
I'll move, Madam Chair, to approve agenda item 7C, approval of award ITB 2021-04 Roosevelt County Road Barn to Nixon Enterprises.
I'll second. Got a motion? Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. 7D, request for approval of new ACH customer service agreement with JP Stone. Ms. Sanchez.
Morning again. This ACH agreement outlines the duties and responsibilities of the county and the bank as well as we initiate ACH transactions with the bank. It's very standard and typical. Mr. Knudsen has reviewed it as well as myself, and I believe Amber also. And we just ask for your approval of this agreement with the bank. I'll stand for any questions.
Anybody have anything? I'll second. We have a motion and a second. Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Yes. Motion
Thank
carries.
you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Resolution, ordinances, and proclamations. 8A, consideration of resolution 2021-22. Adopting a Roosevelt County premium pay stipend for hourly detention personnel who have worked their assigned shifts during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic.
Good morning again. We have looked at options to help our detention personnel. They are essential workers to the county infrastructure. And this resolution would pay them a premium stipend of $150 per pay period for 5 pay periods starting the 18th of April through June 30th. They would be required to work a minimum of 86 hours in a pay period in order to qualify for the $150 premium stipend. This would cost the county roughly $18,750 if all employees were to work the 86 hours each pay period. Do you have any questions? Do you have anything to add?
I'm obviously asking you guys to consider this and approve this. We've asked our detention staff, like many county employees for the last year, to work through this pandemic. Our staff spends over 90% of their time wearing masks and protective gear to protect themselves and the detainees and population, all while struggling to work through the differences that choosing not to work. A lot of people are making about as much money as they do when they come to work right now. So these people are making a conscious decision to come to work and fulfill their obligation to the county. And really, we need to look at appreciating them for the efforts that they're putting in and the hours that they're putting in. They don't work 80-hour weeks. They work at a minimum 86-hour pay periods. So they're putting in their time. They're doing everything. They're meeting all the standards of accreditation that we could ask. So I'm just asking for you to consider and approve this. Thank you.
I would like to comment something on this, if you don't mind. I went down there and I spent some time in the detention center this past week. And I got to say, you know, shorthanded and all, there are employees down there that are working so hard. And I mean, there was one in particular that he had left. He had been working overtime and doing everything, and he would spend time to go see his kids and do that and come right back to work, trying to manage family and work and everything. But he hasn't given up. And, you know, you've got so many of them down there that are willing to work through this pandemic. And there's so many people around here that are not. They just want to stay home and get their unemployment or whatever they want to do, but they're not wanting to work. And I got to tell you, I have all the respect in the world for the people that you have down there. I watch them work so hard, work as a team, work tired, do whatever they needed to do to get the job done. And I think this is an awesome thing to do. And I'm in 100% agreement for it.
And Madam Chair, if I can add, it is approximately $21,000 and it is within his budget. As we know that we are dealing with some staffing vacancies at the detention centers, so our goal with this is to be able to retain the excellent staff that we have over there at the same time of being able to continue to work to fill those positions. We've had a number of different interviews over the last several weeks, a bunch of creative ideas and advertising and finding new ways to reach potential new employees and recruits. But this is something that is within the budget capacity, and this is also something that we do believe that the federal funds will be able to be utilized for.
Will the new employees, like if we hire someone new, are they eligible as well if they're working the 86 hours?
Correct. There is no specific time frame like the COLA placed on there. This instead just states that during these timeframes, as long as they work their required hours, the minimum of 86.
And Madam Chair, I'd like to add something. This is basically an incentive program for job retention to try to preserve what I think is a very difficult job. We all have different jobs, but I've spent a lot of time in jails back in the day, and it's very, very difficult. Not as an inmate, guys. But anyway, for clarification purposes through my job. But I did note that it's for a year, right, Amber? There's a timeline on it?
Actually, only through this fiscal year. So
Right,
y'all will be
that's
able to revisit it, but it's only through June 30th. And then we will bring it to the commission if it's something we want to continue to consider through the next fiscal year or period of time.
And that's the part that I like, that we are actually going to get to see if it's a true reflection of a work incentive. So with that, I'd like to make the motion to approve agenda item 8A, consideration resolution 21-22, adopting Roosevelt County premium pay stipend for elderly detention personnel. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll second that, Madam Chair. Yes.
Again, Madam Chair, Commissioners, I would like to read, attempt to read, I guess, this proclamation and ask you for consideration. We want to designate the first full week of May as the National Correctional Employees Week, whereas the Congress and the President of the United States have designated the first full week of May as National Correctional Employees Week. And whereas the 32 members of the Roosevelt County Detention Center play an essential role in the criminal justice system. And whereas the contribution they make to American law enforcement, while not highly visible, are substantial. These men and women are responsible for ensuring the custody, control, and safety of detainees held in detention, directly supervising the incarceration and rehabilitation of criminal offenders. Correctional employees are an essential part of the nation's criminal justice system. And whereas the detention center personnel have faced unprecedented challenges over the past year due to the COVID-19 pandemic, with additional burdens placed upon the facility. This team has worked to successfully combat and mitigate COVID-19 within the facility to ensure the overall health, safety, and security of the detainee population and the personnel sustained. And whereas the general public should fully appreciate correctional employees capable of handling the physical and emotional demands made upon them daily. Their profession requires careful and constant vigilance, and the threat of violence is always present. At the same time, these dedicated employees try to improve the living conditions of those who are being confined. And whereas the men and women of Roosevelt County Detention Center unceasingly provide a vital public service, working long shifts and putting their lives on the line. This team has remained committed to the excellence after earning and achieving reaccreditation by the New Mexico Association of Counties Adult Detention Professional Standards in 2020. Now, therefore, it is resolved that by Roosevelt County Board of Commissioners, they call upon all citizens of Roosevelt County and upon all patriotic, civic, and educational organizations to observe the first full week of May as National Correctional Employees Week in honor of those correctional employees whom we believe clearly deserve our recognition, respect, and appreciation for ensuring that our detention facility and functions are operated safely and humanely. The Board of Commissioners further call upon all citizens of Roosevelt County to observe the first full week of May in National Correctional Employees Week in honor of those correctional officers who, through their courage deeds, may have made the ultimate sacrifice in their service to the community or have become disabled in the performance of those duties, and those who continue to serve in this challenging and difficult profession of public safety.
I'll second that. Well,
Did you have?
yes.
Got a motion second? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we've skipped number 9. Number 10, media communication. Okay, thank you. Meeting adjourned.
Nice, nice, nice. Nice. I said nice. Why was it in cloud today?